Good morning, students. Today we are going to take up Unit 5, Part 6. Now, today mainly we are going to take up with methods of preparation of colloids. But before we move into the methods of preparation of colloids, we need to keep one thing in mind, that is, if we keep a colloid for long time, the particles will never settle. The particles remain scattered. Now, why this happens is because each and every particle of a particular colloid will possess similar charges, and because of that electrostatic repulsions are there and they do not settle down. Now, why charges are there, that we will take up later. If you want a colloid to accumulate or precipitate, there are some special methods which we will deal with later on. Now we move on to the methods of preparation. There are three main methods of preparation. First is chemical methods, second is electrical disintegration method, and third is peptization. Now, first chemical method is double decomposition method. Now here you can see arsenic trioxide undergoing double decomposition when treated with H2S to give arsenic sulfide sol. And sol word here refers to colloidal solutions or colloids. Oxidation, second method. Sulfur dioxide undergoing oxidation to give sulfur sol. The next is reduction. Gold chloride treated with formaldehyde results in formation of gold colloid or gold sol. And the fourth chemical method is hydrolysis. Ferric chloride is hydrolyzed to ferric hydroxide. Now, after the chemical methods, we move on to the next method, that is electrical disintegration or Bradig's arc method. Now, this method involves dispersion as well as condensation. Now, condensation word is clear to everybody because we have taken it up earlier, and dispersion means spreading over a wide area. And this method is specially for metals such as gold, silver, platinum, etc. And here we have the setup for this method. Now we will go into the detail of this method. Here you can see an electric arc is struck between the electrodes of metal. Here metal is used, which works as a source of disperse phase, and it is immersed in water which acts as a dispersion medium. The intense heat produced vaporizes the metal. Now here the word electric arc is there. Electric arc is actually electricity used to create enough of heat to melt metals. And you can see the trough of water is again placed in ice bath. Now what is ice bath? Ice bath is a vessel or a trough containing ice and water to lower temperature or to keep cool. So when this intense heat vaporizes the metal, the particles of the metal condense in the water which is kept cool using ice bath, and they attain the colloidal size. This is how the colloid is prepared. Now you can see the setup. Here we have the dispersion medium, ice bath, electrodes. Now we move on to the next method, that is peptization. Peptization is the process of converting a precipitate into a colloidal sol. Now for converting a precipitate, you are all aware with the word precipitate, we are going to convert it into a colloidal sol, and that process is called as peptization. For this peptization, we require a peptizing agent, and the electrolyte which is used for peptization is called as peptizing agent. Now during peptization, there is a special phenomenon occurring, that is preferential adsorption. During the process of preferential adsorption, a common ion gets adsorbed on the surface of the precipitate. Now how it is done, we'll see. See, here we have the ferric hydroxide precipitate, and we add an electrolyte to it which is having a common ion with the precipitate. So ferric is common here. So what will happen? This precipitate will prefer the adsorption of ferric ions on it, and the precipitate will get positively charged. And when all the particles of the precipitate are positively charged, electrostatic repulsions will be there, and it will convert this precipitate into a colloid. Now after this example, we move on to the next picture. You can see the precipitate here and you can see the colloid here. See the difference. These cannot settle down. These particles will not settle down. But a precipitate is already settled down, they aggregate. So here ferric hydroxide is there, we add ferric chloride and we get the colloid of ferric hydroxide precipitate. Now here one more picture is there. See here ferric hydroxide is taken, we add ferric chloride and we do vigorous shaking and we get colloidal particles of ferric hydroxide. Hope it is clear to you. And one term is very important here, that is electrostatic repulsions due to similar charges. That you have to remember. Now we move on to the next slide. Purification of colloidal solutions. This is the next topic we have to take up. What do you mean by purification of colloidal solutions? It means reducing the amount of impurities to a minimum. Now, colloids are usually prepared by adding electrolytes into it, which are usually called as crystalloids. They are actually the impurities, and some other soluble impurities are also present. So we have to get rid of these crystalloids. So we'll see the methods which are applied. There are three main methods: dialysis, electrodialysis and ultrafiltration. Three methods are there. So we start with dialysis. Now what is dialysis? It is the process of removing a dissolved substance from a colloidal solution by diffusion using a suitable membrane. Now, what is the principle of dialysis? Particles of true solution can pass through semi-permeable membrane but not the colloidal particles. So the principle says that through a semi-permeable membrane, colloidal particles will not pass through. Now, what is a semi-permeable membrane? It is a biological or synthetic polymeric membrane which allows certain molecules or ions to pass through it by diffusion under certain conditions. And the materials used as semi-permeable membrane are animal membrane, usually bladders of animals, or parchment paper. Parchment paper is a kind of stiff translucent paper, or cellophane sheet, which is a thin transparent wrapping material. So you have to remember, semi-permeable will not allow the colloidal particles to move out. Now we'll see the apparatus used, which is known as dialyzer. The apparatus we'll see. Now this is a dialyzer. You can see the dialyzing membrane is there, and we have kept the colloid in it, and water is flowing through, water is kept in a trough which is flowing. So what will happen? The colloids will remain here and the impurities will pass out into the water. That is how this method is taking place. So the molecules and ions diffuse through the membrane into the outer water and pure colloidal solution is left behind. Now you all might have heard about dialysis. Now you can see here there's a patient who is undergoing dialysis. Now why is dialysis done? When kidney stops working properly, dialysis is used to remove the waste products and excess fluids from the blood, and blood is a colloid, that you have to remember. So here you can see the dialyzer used in an hospital, and this is a real dialyzing machine which is used in hospitals. So dialyzer purifies the blood. Next method is electrodialysis. Dialysis process can be made faster by applying an electric field. The word electrodialysis, if you split into two, the meaning is dialysis which is done by using electric field. And this method is applied if the dissolved substance in the impure colloidal solution is an electrolyte. If we have the impurity in form of an electrolyte, then electrodialysis is used. This is a setup for electrodialysis. We have the electrodes, dialyzer is there which has a dialyzing membrane, and electrodialysis is conducted. Now here you can see the difference between dialysis and electrodialysis. Here we have electrodes, here we do not have electrodes. The dialyzer is same with the dialyzing bag there and the colloid in it, and colloids are purified by this method. Now the third method, ultrafiltration. Now you have to remember that the ordinary filter paper is permeable to colloidal particles. Now permeable means can pass through, okay, or allows to pass through. Permeable means allows to pass through. Now ultra filter paper is made by treating filter paper with colloidin so that the pore size is reduced and it will not allow the colloidal particles to move out. And what is colloidin is given here. 4% solution of nitrocellulose in a mixture of alcohol and ether, followed by hardening by dipping it in formaldehyde solution and drying it. When we do this, the normal filter paper turns into a ultra filter paper with reduced pore size. And this process is a slow process, but its speed can be increased by applying pressure. Now here you can see the ultrafiltration being done, electrolytes passing out and colloidal particles are retained.